everyone, welcome back to my fourth Flosstube. This is Sian, Periwinkle Stitcher, and I'm based in Cardiff in Wales. It's really nice to be back with you. I've got so much to share with you, almost too much. It took me ages to get organised and I ended up putting off doing this video, but I really need to crack on and give an update because I'm actually away from Sunday on my trip to France on holiday, so I thought I'd better come in and show you what I've been up to. It's been a really hectic month. So much has gone on. I went away to Santorini, as you know, for 5 days with my girls. And that was just so lovely to wake up every morning and throw open the shutters and the sun was shining, that relentless Greek heat. Apparently it only rains in Santorini 3 days a year. Unlike Wales, where honestly it probably doesn't rain for 3 days a year. The weather here has been awful. It's still covered in a thick grey cloud today, so I've got nothing to lose but to do a Flosstube. So what else? I've had a day trip to Crickhowell, which is a beautiful little Welsh market town, and had lots of lovely purchases there. I actually got myself a quilt ladder, which was just a one-off in an antique shop. You know, I wish I could have got more. I'd have put one in every bedroom because they're so useful. So I did that. I've also had a trip up to Rockfield near Monmouth to take my hometown quilt, you know, that I showed you last time from Laurie Holt. I went up to the long arm quilter there, she's called Jo, and had a fabulous pub lunch on the way back, so made a bit of a trip of it, and so that was really lovely. But so before we get started, we're going to crack on with the stitching. I do need to say a few thank yous and shout outs to people that have been so kind to mention me on their channel. And honestly, I've got over 6,000 subscribers, which is just blows my mind and makes me feel nervous about coming back on. But once I press play, I'll relax and get into the stitching with you. But I do need to really thank Pam and Steph. You know, Just Keep Stitching. I nearly fell off my chair when they called me out. I followed Pam on Facebook for years. I love it when she spins the wheel on her. She's got the wheel, you know, that spins around to choose which of her stitch alongs is going to get picked for the week, because she's got so many sales that she's involved with. And of course, Steph is just, I mean, my girls know who Steph is, and we quite often, when we're stupid, we say things like, yes ma'am, you know, to try and be like Steph. I just think she's so funny and I love everything she does. Her stitching is perfect and she's a perfectionist, and I just think she's come on such an amazing journey, and it's very admirable what she's done and who she is. So love them. I also had a really fun shout out from a lady called Rika, who you'll know in the States because she's a quilter and she makes fabulous project portfolios. I don't think she sells outside the US, otherwise I would sign up to her club because her work is just stunning. She works for, her handle is House of Stitch and Stash, another one you can't say after a glass of wine. But Rika has been so kind and friendly to me. You know, she's offered to help me track down charts that I struggle to get in the UK, and she is such a lot of fun on her Flosstube. She calls it obnoxious stash and shopping that she does, because she's a big shopper. But all of her projects, I think, that she did on her last Flosstube, I was jotting down what she's working on because they're just all so gorgeous. And she's also got her hands on the new Country Sampler limited edition that Brenda Gervais put out, called Swan Lake. And you know, I live right on the lake here. I've got swans over the road, and that's going to be a must stitch. As soon as that's on the market, I'm going to have to try and track it down. So please go and see Rika. Her Flosstube is absolutely fun. And then a lady called Laurie, Once Upon a Stitch, who's been on Flosstube for a long time, gave me a shout out. So kind and such a lovely channel. Heidi Stitching Faye, who you'll know is so prolific. I mean, I don't think Heidi can sleep because she stitches so much. She's amazing. And then a lovely lady called Marine from France, called Coq en Vert. She knits these fantastic baby clothes. I actually watched her Flosstube all the way through. It's beautiful what she's doing. Unfortunately, it's in French and I don't speak very good French, but I wish I did. So that was Cucumber. And then Lizzie the Stitcher in New Zealand, she had an amazing whole line of Stacey Nash finishes, the little pin books, and just lovely finishes. So please go and watch Lizzie the Stitcher in New Zealand. I think she's a friend of Nerissa's, and they both have such beautiful work. And then Audrey and her little son Rupert have been watching me and gave me a shout out. You'll know Audrey because of course Laura and Brenda are big fans of hers, and she's funny, she's young and enthusiastic. She's just had a fabulous trip around Europe, although they were poorly on that trip actually. But Audrey's a lot of fun, stitch bead, and she has just finished the most exquisite little velvet strawberries that she's just been so clever and made those, so go and have a look. And then finally, of course, our mother of all cross stitch and quilting, Carol Saltbox, gave me a mention, and I don't think there's a Flosstube of Carol's that I haven't watched in the last probably 4 years. I've seen them all. The minute she goes live, I just put everything down and go and watch, because I find Carol hugely enabling. Everything she works on, I have to get and start on ASAP. So thank you so much, ladies, for your kind shout outs. And yeah, it just makes such a huge difference when you get acknowledgements from people that have been on Flosstube for such a long time. So I'm very grateful. It's very kind, and I do really appreciate it. Right, well, what have I been stitching on? I've actually, considering I was away, I've had a really productive month. I'm nervous that I'm not going to be doing so much the next month, but I've been very busy. And let me show you what I've been up to. This is Lottie. So this chart in my lovely bag here is called Charlotte Warrington, 1838. In my Barry Stitch Folk bag. So this is by Needlework Press, this chart. It was one of the limited kits that you could buy from the group on Facebook. I always forget what they're called, but I actually got this from Colorado Cross Stitcher in the US, and it came really quickly actually, although I did have to pay a huge amount of customs on this. I think because the material was in with it. If it's a chart, you don't pay customs, but if it's got all the bits with it, you do. So this is a beautiful chart, but the colours are quite different in reality, but I'm getting used to them, and I tell you, I absolutely love stitching on this. These are beautiful colours, very bright. I've already gone through a whole Weeks Dye Works lily pad. So, oh, let me show you. That's in my book of days. So for July, I stitch nearly every day. And one of these is, yeah, Weeks Dye Works. Here's my lily pad. So that's what I do with my spare ones. The other one here is Oscar. I can't remember now what I've used so much Oscar on, but and also for August is filling up quite nicely. So I've had a few little finishes there, and I hope to get a few stitching days in. I don't know, before I go to France. Anyway, so Charlotte is now looking like this. I've worked quite a lot on her actually. You can see all the green at the bottom here. So I've been working on these people, and it looks like a bird cage. There are 2 whites in here. You can barely see the crisscross, but that's okay. That's how it's meant to be. And I've started working on the tree trunk here. I've done a few more of the animals and come over to the wall. So although this is a huge, great project, it's 30 pages, and there is a stitch along for this. I'm not keeping up because I start in the bottom right, not top left like most people. I'm on very different pages, so I can't really follow the homework set for the stitch along. But I've actually finished 2 complete pages and already started on a little bit of the third and fourth page. So page 30 down here is done. And I think some of page 29, most of page 29. So I'm really cracking on and I absolutely love it. This is on 40 count, Weeks Dye Works straw, but it's the good base, the Zweigart base, because I have got quite a few bits of parchment here which are not on the Zweigart base, and they're much harder to control the tension on. I enjoy stitching on them, but it's just your tension goes a bit off. You have to be very careful. So this is lovely, and I wish I could stitch on her every day because it's just a joy and I love working on her. So me and Lottie are still BFFs, and she lives in this bag here, and I did iron her specially for this. So that's the first one I've been working on. Then you'll remember that I had this fabulous project called On My Whip Go, and this is in my lovely project bag by Patchwork Paw Print Val, and this is With Thy Needle and Thread. Manor at Quaker Hill with the bright turquoise that I haven't actually come to yet. I can't wait to get down to the house and the swans on the water there. And the colours for this are absolutely fabulous. The DMC 356 is that wonderful rusty old antique rosy colour, and these are the overdyes. Got my little key fob there, and so pretty. And the bright blue, which I haven't even started, is lettuce leaf, and it is very bright. But I don't know if you saw this actually on the attic. Carolyn's been stitching this with, she was showing it to Jean on their latest Flosstube, and it's so pretty. It really, I'd like to keep going on this. I don't know if I'll have time this month to get back to it, but I did quite a lot. I focused on this side and I came down here with the yellows and the golds in the flower. There's a grey and a yellow in there, and these fabulous rusty colour roses. So I've done quite a lot coming down here. Oh, this may be where my Oscar all got used up actually, bringing down the border on this side. So it's very, very pretty. This is on 40 count, Picture This Plus Legacy, which I just love. I think I told you last time how much I love working on Legacy. I know it's a really tight weave, and yeah, 40 count can be quite hard to work on, but I really, really love that project, and I just hope I can have time to get back to it next month. Then, because the weather's been so bad here, I found myself one night at midnight going online to try to get one of Barry's Stitch Folk bags. I can't remember what time it was in the US when they went live. I was so lucky. I managed to get one in the cart, and look at it. What a lot of fun. And this fabulous fabric on the back and lined. This is the one with the blackbird inside. So beautiful. I love Barry's bags. I had such a lovely chat with her actually when they arrived quickly, and I said how delighted I was with this. She had said that she had a few of Nikki Franklin's embroidery kits in her stash, and that seeing them on my Flosstube, she pulled them out and may even give one of them a go. Isn't that fun? So this is housing a very, very special project. This was the other one that was called On My Whip Go, one of my new starts for 2024, which I've achieved, by the way. And already, do you know, I'm out to sync, because what I was supposed to start this program with was my finishes. So I'll have to do those in a minute. One of the finishes was my 25th start. So I've already had 24 and 24 quite comfortably. So this is with my lovely little stitch piece by Sally, Humble Bumble Stitcher, which we got down at the Cowslip Studio when we went for Stacey Nash's retreat in May. And these fabulous colours. Look at this. This comes out, the pinks are just absolutely stunning. What are they? Colonial Rose, Antique Rose, and Rose Garden. It's quite bright, but when it's put with the duck egg blue and the greys, wait till you see it. So this was my limited chart that Alma gave us when we went to the retreat at the Attic, Autumn in Abundance, which is open, isn't it, for signing up to at the moment. I can't go this year, but yeah, if you get the chance to go, wow, it was such an amazing retreat. And this is the one signed by Alma, so precious. So this is called Gifts of the Season, and it's on 36 count, picture this plus vellum, which is the most fabulous linen. Lost my board. So I made a bit of a start, and I started in the middle on this one, and so you can see what I've done, but look at the colours. Everything's about the sort of pinks and blues that I did this month with that fabulous vase of flowers. Different colours for Blackbird, I'd say, quite bright actually. And that pink is the Rose Garden, and it just pops so beautifully on this linen. Absolutely love vellum. I've stitched quite a few things over the years on vellum, and yeah, I've just got another piece now to put in my stash because I love it so much. I don't know if you can quite see the pink. These little birds are a different pink. So beautiful. Yeah, so that's my Blackbird. There were two other parts with this project. One was a little paperweight. Sorry for the glare. And this was the other, a little cushion to commemorate the visit to the attic in 2023. So at some point I'll be working on these, but they're on, the paperweight's on 46 count, and I can't find one to fit a little piece like this. I've looked online for vintage ones. This is an old vintage one. And I went to the antique shops in Crickhowell, couldn't get one anywhere. So if anyone knows where I can get a little oblong paperweight like that, please let me know. Yes, so that's my lovely project bag from Barry. And yeah, I think they get like gold dust, aren't they, those project bags? The minute you have to just go straight to your cart and check out. Otherwise, if you go back and try to get more, they've sold out by then. And then one other project I just felt the need to stitch on because it's supposed to be summertime. And this is in a little project bag that I made, one of the very first ones actually, with the lovely Brenda Riddle. I think this line is called Grace, with this sort of pink and blue plaids. And if there's leftovers, I always try and make up a little thread bed here to keep all your threads in. These are the colours. And this chart is Live on Little. And it's funny actually, because when I was watching Carol at the weekend, she spent a long time stitching on this in the last month because she's made incredible progress, much better than me. But I did concentrate on the fill-in at the bottom with the dark blue DMC, and this is my progress. I just love this stitch. And it's on 36 count Fox and Rabbit hog bristle, which is a fabulous, quite yellowy actually, the 36 count. I love it. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Look at the house. There are so many different blues and greys in the brickwork here. There's one of the threads is called Seagull, and the waves here. So the next thing I need to start working on is to repeat this huge block of the blue waves coming over to the sailing boat. But look at the little mermaid with looking in the mirror, and the fish. And as you put in the dark DMC, it just came to life. So I finished all this fill-in this time, and I just enjoyed it. I can sit in front of the TV and watch the Olympics, which has been fabulous, and do some fill-in, kind of half watching Simone do an acrobat, you know, flip backs and filling in. I just think this is such a fun stitch. So I'm cracking on with it, and I've done a lot of the solid stitching. So I think coming up and doing the border and the words, you know, anyway, who am I kidding? I think this is going to be another 3 years in the making, but I've loved every minute of it and really, really enjoyed it. So that was another project that I stitched on this month. Now I'll go backwards now and show you what else. So the other thing I did was stitching in July. I told you that I wanted to make a start in my lovely project portfolio by Canny Little Fox. I think it's Becky that runs Canny Little Fox. So it's got I just love these. I'd like to have more of them actually, but I'm trying to be good with my shopping because I've been very naughty. Yeah, fabulous portfolio. So inside here, I've got my Annie B's 12 Days of Christmas stockings. And I told you I wanted to make a start. So I'm keeping everything in here. Got all my threads, and it's got so many different pockets and portfolios. So this was the book by Annie B's, and so many people are working on these. And I don't normally jump in and work on everything that everyone else is, but I just thought they were so cute. I made a start. So I haven't completely finished them, but I worked on 3, and this is what I've done. So I've just done the fronts. I've yet to put the material on the backs, but I did the first day of Christmas. So this is the partridge in a pear tree, and I've done the beading. I followed, I did watch, oh gosh, who's the beading expert? Oh, it'll come to me. I did watch and take some tips about putting the interfacing on the back to support the beading a little bit better. So that's the first day. There are red beads on all of the little berries, and there are also the cream beads here on all of the numbers. So the second day, I should know this, shouldn't I? 2 turtle doves. Aren't they lovely? And I've gone larger on the beads. I didn't use the tiny seed beads. I think these might be a 9.0. And I just bought these little beads from my local stitch shop in Cardiff. So I didn't order a special. I just used what I had in my stash. And actually they're big, but I think at Christmas you can go more blingy. And 3 is the 3 French hens. So I've cracked on with the first 3. They're very fiddly. And it's the first time I've ever stitched on the really dark linen. Now this is 36 count, so I got smoky grey, the same as Celeste from Celeste Creates, same linen that she is using. And yeah, I didn't cut my bits of fabric perfectly, so you can see the first one fit great. So what I need to do is, when they're all done, line them up to make sure, and then chop the tops to match, and then do the backs. So, but I've got my little templates, so once you've done the first one, I think the others are aren't they adorable? And the fabric I chose for the back, I thought I'd go with this, which is a really pretty little holly print that picks up the cream, the red and the green actually on all of the stockings. Yeah, absolutely love these. I think they're going to be delightful hung on the tree. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the chenille to go around the top. The Lady Dot Creates vanilla chenille. So I'll wait, see if I can get my hands on that. And if I can, great. And if I can't, I've bought this tiny little, what's it called? Rico Rumi Nilly Nilly. It's like a mini little ball. I got a few colours actually. And what I could do is just put 2 or 3 strands of this together and make my own, because it is the perfect colour, and just drape those across the top if I need to. And then this is quite nice as well to hang them off. So I'm starting to think about how I'm going to make those up for Christmas this year. So that's that. Oh yeah, the only chenille I did have was actually called Vintage, and I think it's just a bit too brown. Yeah, dirty snow, so I'm not going to use that. So that was for Christmas in July, some starts and some finishes in my lovely portfolio. And then I also, because I showed the portfolio on my last Flosstube, I had the most fabulous happy mail from Canny Little Fox with a little thank you note. And look at this, a little mug she sent me. And please go and have a look on her website. Look, isn't that just fabulous? Such a lovely thing, so kind of her. And it just says, I just want to watch Flosstube and drink coffee. I think it's really cute. So go and have a look on her website. She's got lots of mugs and some of them are really funny, and lots of stickers as well for you to put in your book of days. So that was so kind and thoughtful, and my first bit of happy mail. It was lovely. And then one other thing I pulled out actually for Christmas in July, I've always got lots of little Christmas projects, but this is one that I had last year and hadn't started. And it's actually called Christmas in July, so I was sort of drawn towards starting this, and it's on fabulous linen that I also love, my favourite, Fox and Rabbit, and it's on Saltbush. I started mine on 40 count, it calls for 36 I think. Yeah, Christmas in July. So this is the threads, a new colour to me, artichoke. It's like a pale, really variegated green, and it goes beautifully with the DMC, which is 3809, this dark tealy blue. So that's what I've started on, the door and the windows. Love everything Paulette does. And clear a space. Oh, this is in a project bag that I made with the Kathy Holden fabric last year. Such beautiful fabric. And again, I made the little thread beds from, I think I had a charm pack of all the different, look, just love all of Kathy Holden's fabrics. And also the lady was at the attic selling 5 Times Blessed, as she got 5 children. I think that's her name, and she had such gorgeous things. I've got a few little things to hang off my project bags from her, and this is what the small-ish start. I say that, it took me quite a while, because on 40 count you can see the trees, they show up better in real life. This is the artichoke, and the white is popping on there, and that fabulous DMC teal. So I'm quite pleased with my little start, because I didn't think I'd get to 2 things for Christmas in July, but I did. And love this linen. Saltbush is fabulous. Wish I could get more from my stash, but the minute it comes into Peakside, it's gone. So that was my progress on what I've been stitching. And then I'll show you 3 other things I finished actually this month. So you'll remember I said that I wanted to get back to my Stacey Nash Strawberry Cottage sewing roll that we had at the Stacey Nash retreat in May, and I finally finished it. Gosh, there was a lot of stitching in this. So this is on 40 count Heirloom by, no, I couldn't get Heirloom, it's Shreki's Tan, isn't it, by Needle Bling Designs, and I finished it. So the front I've done before and showed you the front, I think. Look at the horse. I mean, it's beautiful. And then I had to crack on with the little sampler bit for the inside to make the pocket. So it didn't take long, a day or 2. And then all the materials were given to us. So we've got this lovely old linen to line with, and 2 navy fabrics, one with a tiny little dot on the top, little sprig of flowers, and this pretty one. And then we were given the ribbon. So it's the first time I've ever done this. We had to sort of tack it down and ruche it as we were going. And I really didn't know how it would turn out, but look at it. It's just beautiful. It's big enough to keep a hoop in, and if that's what you want. Or I mean, it's just so pretty. What I've done is just rolled it up and I keep it on here on the top of my shaker box, and I couldn't be more delighted with it. I just think it's beautiful. Really, really lovely. So that's the Strawberry Cottage sewing roll. There are so many recurring themes this month for the blue and the bright pink or red, and it's just such a lovely finish. So that's one thing that I completed. And the other thing, you'll remember I was kindly sent this kit from the Stitchery Sisters, and Nikki Franklin's sister Sarah is starting out in cross stitch this year. So she's got kits on the website, quite a few Christmas kits actually of little penguins and things, which are really sweet. But this was the first of her heirloom collection, and it's called the Cherry Garden Sampler Sewing Pouch, and I decided to make it up as she says, as she suggested, as a little sewing pouch. So she even sent me the little button and the silk ribbon here, and these little logos were stitched on, and that's the actual sort of sampler piece. It's so pretty. Look at the rabbits on the bottom. Again, the duck eggy blue grey and the dark pink Weeks Dye Works. Such a pretty thing. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping my applique needle and thread in here. Just put a little bulb pin with some old vintage buttons on the side. This, you'll remember, is lined with the fabulous French General, one of the new ranges that was out recently. It's a real duck egg blue and pink, just so pretty. So yeah, I've got my little sewing kit in here in an old quilted little piece of quilt from Homespun Needleworks, Sue, and just made that into a little pouch. So again, that's changed into something really useful because my new quilt project is applique. I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, that's really pretty. And this again is on Fox and Rabbit. What's it on? I've forgotten the colour. Oh dear, my memory. Desert Taipan, isn't it? Yeah, which has got like a pinky tinge to it. Yeah, Fox and Rabbit, I think that's 40 count. It's very delicate and it's so useful. It's lovely. Really pleased with it. So that was another finish. And then one more finish I had for the month was this. Remember I bought this recently. Now this is called Summer Swan. I wasn't intending to start it. I wasn't going to do another summer stitch, but what happened was I saw Brenda's new release for October, and there's going to be not for October, for autumn. There's going to be an autumn swan, and I love a series like that, and I didn't want to fall behind, so I thought, well, if I do that and order the autumn kit, it's quite large actually, even though it's on 40 count vintage country mocha. It was quite a lot of work. It took me about 3 days to make this, and it's finished in the vintage Lady Dot Creates pom-pom trim, and I adapted it for a British flag this time because I've got swans over the road here on the lake. And actually at the end, when I put in my pictures from holiday, I won't do the Santorini ones, but I'll put some pictures in of the vase I saw in one of the little windowsills, and it was one of those huge old swan vases in Greece, which just made me think as well, oh, I need to crack on with this stitch. So this, it doesn't show up brilliantly on the video. It's not too bad in person. It's this white. It's not really a white. It's sort of a pink with the odd bits of grey. It's called Arrowhead by Weeks Dye Works. It's very, very pretty with the blues. And I adapted the American flag. I sort of tried to keep the shape and just drew it out on a piece of graph paper, the British flag. So I've kind of copied the pole and everything else. And then the little bees with a little, what's that stitch called? Not stem stitch. Oh gosh, I'm not having a good day. Anyway, very, very pretty. And everything by Brenda, of course, is a must-have. Summer Swan. So that was a start and a finish since I've seen you last, and I'm really, really pleased with that. And then after the cross stitch, I actually started this on holiday. I had a quiet afternoon sitting in the chair in the boiling heat in Santorini, and pulled out the hydrangea bouquet, which is from Nikki Franklin, the Stitchery, and this was our kit for June. And it's quite different because the threads were all blues, and the previous 2 months had been all about the pink. So this was so lovely to stitch. Quite a periwinkle blue there, sort of a lilac-y, purpley blue. And we stitched the hydrangea. Absolutely gorgeous. Can you see the texture there? It's just a simple stitch, but it's all about cramming in French knots with different numbers of threads and different colours. So you've got quite the sort of greeny golds in with the blues to make it look like a faded hydrangea. Oh, she's just so clever. I mean, the texture on it, it doesn't do it justice, but it's really bumpy. And this old slubby linen this month was amazing. So it was just a joy to stitch. And I did quite a bit actually when the plane was delayed coming back in the airport. So I got quite a lot done. So that was my June. And then for this month, this only arrived yesterday morning, we've got this, which is really quite different. I've never done something all in a pale whitey shade. So this is called Queen Anne's Lace, and I didn't get a chance to look this up before I pressed go. I meant to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's a posh thing for cow parsley. I could be wrong though, but it looks like cow parsley, doesn't it? And the colours, wow. All whites, and this is DMC. I'm sure it's B5200 and Ecru, and 3065, 3865, and just all the lovely neutral shades. So pretty. So I'm really looking forward to start that. This is what she says about it. The limited colour palette in this kit really shows the texture and delicacy of Queen Anne's lace, proving that an embroidery doesn't have to be complicated to be beautiful. So fabulous, can't wait to start that. And opening the box is such a treat. Look at this, it all comes in this fabulous packaging, and that's a new design for the next 3 months. Previously the packets looked like that. So yes, that's off Nikki for the months. So that's my plan for embroidery. Now, plans next for, sorry, I'm a bit all over the place today. I'm not going in the right order, am I? Plans for cross stitch. What came up on my whip go for the next month? This was called Every Opening Flower by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I've been stitching on this for a long time. I've made good progress. I'm not ever in a rush to finish something unless it's a small to put in a bowl. I'm never really in a hurry. It has been crammed in my one of my Laurie Holt little project bags that I made. I bought the panel. These are lovely, and I've actually lined this with some of the instruction material, waste not, want not, and done a little crosshatch quilt on the back. They're a lot of fun to make up with Laurie zips, and they're a double zip, so they close either way, which are great. And this is Every Opening Flower. I always use these on the zippers so I know what I've got. And this is on 36 count R&R Winter Brew, with all the core 4 threads, and this is my progress. I haven't ironed this. I don't like to iron them too much over the stitching, but I have got a nasty crease, probably because I crammed it in that little bag. I filled in the house here at the Great British Sampler Weekend in Swindon that Nicola Parkman ran that retreat last year. I sat and stitched on that in between the lectures. So this is so pretty. I need to come down now and do the big urn on the bottom here, and I'll do the bird on the top. I've started it, but I haven't finished it. And the bee, and there's some speciality stitches in there. So yeah, if I could get a few days on this, I don't know if I could finish it, but I could certainly make some good progress. Look at that weeping willow. So lovely. Love this, love the fabric. Yeah, so that's every opening flower. I'm going to be getting back to that. And then the other one that's called on my whip go. Now this isn't a normal sort of natural choice of chart. There's a loose thread there for me. This is a bit different. This is in one of my lovely French old vintage fabric, and this is a Lila's studio chart, and I think it's all DMC. I haven't stitched on this for, well, over a year. It's the Summer Quaker, and it's all DMC's. Amazing colours, absolutely lovely. The pale blues. And the bright reds, actually. So this is what it looks like. Sorry, I haven't taken it out of the chart. I know Samantha, the Hygge stitcher, and her friends have a stitch along and are doing all of the Quakers. I just was really drawn to that lighthouse in the middle. At the bottom of the lake here, there is a lighthouse. I must go out and take a little film and put it on the end of my video. But look at this. I just loved stitching on this last year, so I'm excited to get back. I'm not drawn to it, but when I pulled it out, I thought, this is just adorable. It's so pretty, and this fabric is wonderful. It is, so this is called Lila Studio Summer Quaker, and it's 40 count Fox and Rabbit Latte. It is beautiful linen. So I've started in the middle. I mean, look at those houses, aren't they cute? So it's going to be really nice. And all the big Quaker medallions to go around the edge. I love working on those. So yeah, it's quite a tight weave. They're tiny, weeny little stitches, but you can see the clouds are popping nicely on this fabric. Really lovely. Never used latte before. Fibre on a whim. Lovely, lovely linen. So yeah, I'm really pleased that this has been called, because it's summer stitching and you never know. Sometimes September can be really, the sun's trying to come out here. September can be really nice in the UK. So, you know, I do like to stitch on seasonal things in the season. And I know everyone else has been pulling out their autumn stitches and plans, but I've got a huge number of finishes and charts for autumn, but I'm not there yet. I'm still waiting for summer to arrive here. So I can't bear to move off the summer stitching. So that is Summer Quaker that I'll be working on when I get back from France. So that's exciting. So that's my plans. Oh, and then, of course, I don't know if you all have been keeping up to date with Narissa Stitching Lifestyle in New Zealand. Oh, her stitching is just absolutely fabulous. And she has been doing, I didn't write it down. Yes, I did. It's called Stash Sampler September, hashtag, and Stash Sampler Stitching. So you've got a choice. You can either stitch your samplers from stash that you've already started maybe last year, but also I think she starts one a week for 8 weeks. She starts it in August because there's not enough weeks in September for her to get to all the samplers, which is kind of sensible. But I mean, August has been and gone, and I've done so much other stitching. I'm not going to be able to do it now. But I thought for a plan, what I'd love to do is start on a nice new sampler. Oh, this again is in one of my Laurie Holt bags. Love her fabrics. And with one of her zips, and I've lined it with leftovers from one of my quilt backings. I think that's a wide back. So I've got the, my husband, Phil, bought me this for Christmas, actually for my birthday, at least 2 years ago. And bless him, he bought it because it's a Welsh sampler and it was in my favourites list at 123 Stitch. So he went on, picked the most expensive chart on that was in my basket waiting, and bought me that and got the silks to go with it, which, you know, you could just click and 123 Stitch will put all the stuff. So all the beautiful colours are here ready to go, and it's just been sitting there for 2 years. I think one of the reasons is, oh, don't hate me guys, but I'm not a massive cat fan. And we laughed and laughed because I took this chart to the Great British Sampler Weekend because Tabby Cat Linens, I think it's Deborah was there, and it doesn't tell you what linen to use, does it, on the hats? You have to just, it was done on Penelope canvas, closest to DMC shade 422 linen. Well, I don't know how to buy DMC linen, so it's been languishing in the bag. So I thought, well, I'll ask Deborah, what does she recommend? And I said, I don't like cats. And bearing in mind, she's called Tabby Cat Linen, and she was rolling around laughing. But I just think everything else, you know, I love it. The people, the fact it's a Welsh sampler, the boats in the middle here. There are 2 ships here, and I live on the lake, you know. I just love it. And the border is so pretty. It's what are those big lilies and roses? Oh, and I just love a flat floral border like that. So I was having a look at this chart. This is the linen I picked for it. This is another reason that I wasn't 100% sure, because it's 37 count, but look at the colour. I've got a huge piece because it's an unknown linen from Deborah at Tabby Cat. And so I bought a bed sheet of it. And obviously there's way too much there, but it is quite a big sampler. It will be, I think it's 20 something by 20 something odd inches if it's on 37 count. But look at this lovely little William Wordsworth poem in with it, with the thread legend. So let me tell you a bit about Jane Bannister. Hands Across the Sea, 1855. It's a Welsh sampler. I'm a Welsh girl. I live in Wales. I was born in Wales. From the island of Anglesey. I don't know much about Anglesey. I think I've only been there once years ago when I was so young, to be honest. I don't remember. So there were a couple of interesting things. First of all, there are 49,955 stitches in this sampler, so she's a big girl. It's going to take a long time, and these fabulous big urns of flowers up here, the sooner I start it, the better. There are 33 colours, I think I read in here. It doesn't say on the back. But also some fun things about this chart. Sorry, I just bumped the table. So this was known as a Welsh woolly because it was knitted in wool. And the minute Hands Across the Sea saw Jane's cats, they knew they had to stitch this because it's quite unusual. And to the bottom left, the cats quietly watching 2 merch fach, which are two little Welsh girls down here. So that's so cute. But the Isle of Anglesey, Ynys Mon in Welsh, was known as Mam Cymru, Mother of Wales, during the Middle Ages because its fertile fields formed the breadbasket for the north of Wales. Anglesey also has the village with the longest place name in Britain, but I don't know if you've seen Michelle Mama Loves You GB. She must be up there on holiday because she took a picture or a little video of the name of the railway station on her Instagram, and I'll have a go at saying it for you. Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll go geri chwyn drobwyll Llantysilio go go goch. That is the name of the little town. And it translates into this: St. Mary's Church in the hollow of the White Hazel, near to the fierce whirlpool of St. Tysilio of the Red Cave. Isn't that fabulous? So lots of amazing history about Anglesey, and also very interesting that Hands Across the Sea give you so much history in the beginning of the chart here. I was reading a little bit about it and found it incredible that at the time the children were not allowed to speak Welsh in school. They would be given a stick to hold and to pass on that baton to the next child that tried to speak Welsh. They were only taught Welsh, I suppose. They were allowed to speak it at home or in Sunday school and places like that. So this is why all of this was in English, which she probably wouldn't have spoken naturally at home. So quite shocking, really. The Welsh language very nearly died out, and it's said that it's a very, very old language, possibly 4,000 years old. It very nearly vanished. And until there was a political campaign in 1962 to bring it back, it almost went to the brink of extinction. Today, Wales is proudly bilingual. And if you visit, you will notice the road signs are in both English and Welsh at huge cost, I hasten to add. But everyone in the Welsh school is forced to speak Welsh until they're 16 and take the O-level. Yeah, so that's another reason why I need to start on Jane. So that's one of my plans now for Sampler September. And another beauty that if I get the time I would love to start, as well as pulling out some of the ones I've got ongoing. And this is a chart by Manny Di Donna. I was looking for this for ages because I'd assumed it was an A4 chart, but it wasn't. It was in with my little seasonal charts because it's a tiny little one. So Simona, I think this is Italian, isn't it? And it's called the Eunice Tancarel Sampler. The first time I ever saw this was on Risi. Is she in Australia or New Zealand? I think she's Australian, and she used to do a Flosstube. Occasionally she comes back and does the most amazing Flosstube. I can't get the Weeks Cocoa linen. I've got cocoa for another sampler. I absolutely love it, but I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to press on and use this, which I thought was quite similar, a little bit darker perhaps, but this is called Mason linen. It's the button box, which is medium dark. And I think the floral border, there are these pink roses all around the edge. I think it'll show quite nicely. And this is just with DMCs. I don't have them all, but I have most of them. And the rest are on order from Sue at Peakside. So that's another plan I've got. I don't know whether I'll get to all of these because, as I say, it's holiday season now for me and Phil. But I'd like to. Yeah, so that's my stitching, and then I thought I would show you what I've been quilting. I showed you last time the quilt top, didn't I, for my Laurie Holt hometown, and thank you so much for your kind comments about the quilting. I went up, as I said, to what's it called, Rockfield near Monmouth. Had a fabulous day trip out, and I'll put some photographs in at the end because I did get a photograph of the quilt top hanging off the side of the long arm, just so she could quickly measure it and estimate the cost of long arm in it. But so I dropped that off, and then I thought, well, what am I going to do now? And I was about to start my next Laurie Holt quilt because I have got the Mercantile Sampler, which is going to be beautiful. But I thought, well, let's try, I was itching to try something a bit different, a different designer. So what I bought, and again, I put photographs of how it came in the box. It's a Moda quilt this time, so it's not Riley Blake. And excuse me while I reach for it. This is the kit I bought, and I was really pleased actually. I contacted the sewing studio and they let me have this for a very small discount if I mentioned that I had purchased this from them. So that was very, very kind. So they have got the kits in stock, very similar, reasonable price to the Fat Quarter shop, but of course without the shipping and the customs. So I purchased this from the UK, which is great. And it's called My Summer House by Benny Hill Designs, and it is a plique. So I started off with the first block, this one here, and I managed to do that. I'm going to try and do a block a month and come and share it with you. This is block 1. So, and I had to use a brand new method. So unlike lorries where you put the interfacing on the back of the shape and split the back and turn it inside out, this uses, there were 2 techniques proposed. One is needle turn, which I find quite slow. I'm not patient enough for that. And the other is called the spray starch method. And that's the method, I Googled it, read the instructions in the Bunny Hill kit, which are very comprehensive, but I also like to see. So I went onto YouTube and found actually that years ago, the Fat Quarter shop had invited on a lady, I've forgotten her name, from Fig Tree, Joanna Figaro from Fig Tree Quilts, and she gave an excellent little short tutorial on how to do the spray starch method. And you basically spray starch and paint it on and then turn it over your shape that you've cut with a little craft iron or any sort of small iron, any iron. And that's what I did. I mean, it's not for the hottest day of the year because I was absolutely baking doing it, but it was so effective and it worked. So let me show you. These were the fabrics in the kit. Again, the theme of the everything blue and pinky reds. Really lovely fabrics. And one of the reasons that I ended up falling down this rabbit hole of choosing this kit was because Rika King from House of Stitch and Stash had shown the one fabric from this range that is missing. I need to buy it separately for the backing. Tiny houses, little duck egg blue housing on a fabric with red roofs. And it's the Bunny Hill range. As she'd made these fabulous project portfolios in that for her club, for the guys that she has subscribing to her club. And so I hunted for that fabric, and this is the range I found. So I ended up buying the kit, and the one fabric missing was the little houses, but never mind. And this is what the first block looks like. So I think for my first go using starch, the spray starch technique, it came out really well. You can see how pointy, you can actually get real points and really quite small curved shapes. So you can get even more delicate shapes than using the, dare I say it, lorries interfacing. So a little bit more finer work. Not quite as thick. Having said that, I do absolutely still love Lorry the best. But this little bird on the water bath, and then these flowers, they just turn so well using this technique. You can even turn tiny legs, look, individual legs on the cat. So there we are. I've done my little nose on him. So the first block is done, and it's really fun, really fun to do, and the fabrics are beautiful. So I'm very pleased with that. I've cut a few of the backgrounds now, ready for a few more blocks, and I'm going to try and do one a month and come on and show you my progress. I think probably the bunting around the side is going to be a little bit challenging. I don't know. I think if you can turn the tiny centres of the flowers and the cat's body, and the tail, it's all one piece. I managed to turn that. And the little bird wing. I think if you can do that, maybe the side isn't so bad. But yes, so there we are, my summer house. This is what it looks like. The little picture of the kit. And these are some of the other products in the range, some of the other quilts that you can get with her new fabric range that was launched, I think in March this year, but it takes a while for everything to land here in the UK. Yeah, so there we are. So I think that's about it for showing you what I finished. I've shown you my Happy Mail from Canny Little Fox. I haven't shown you my tier tray, my previous finishes. I can quickly do that. Right, okay, I've got some fun things to show you. So these are out and about at the moment. This is Little House Needleworks Summer ABCs. This is on 36 count R&R Winter Brew, using all the call for threads. And this is lined, backed with Moda Sanctuary Pink Stripe by Crystal Rose. It's a fabulous, absolutely fabulous fabric. So I love this. It's not showing up quite as bright as it does in real life, but it's very sweet. So that's one of the first sort of long ABC finishes that I did. I've got one other done and two more in stash. And then these I have shown on my Instagram. This is Plum Street, My Garden House. No, my summer garden, my garden house, something like that. Finished with this Charlotte velvet top, and I couldn't get the called for. I can't remember what it was, but I stitched this on just a plain Zweigart Pearl Grey, 35 count this is. Look at the little dog. And the bees. It was quite a fiddly stitch. There's back stitching and tiny little bees and bee wings. But wow, it's lovely with the quilt block on the front of the house. Really enjoyed making that. And that came up on my Whip Go 2 years ago to do. So that's from 2022 on a lovely old candle stand. And another one, oh, let me show you this first. This is another rose garden finish. This is Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, the rabbit and the rose. I stitched this the minute I got hold of the chart. Loved it. I think, so these roses, can't remember now what threads it was, but I remember the fluffy tail being in that whisper thread. And this fabric is 36 count Seraphim Time Goes By. It's a very dark, almost greeny brown fabric, really fun, different, and lined with, backed with fabulous French General. And Katie Strachan is the beading expert, and Katie's tutorial on how to do these little 3 beads. Oh, it's just at the time it was my favorite type of finish. And so you'll see actually a lot of my autumn things I did at a similar time have got this beaded finish, and I just think it's just so lovely. So yeah, that was unusual for me to choose cream beads. Most of my other ones I've chosen a colour, and to do them at Christmas with red beads is just fab. So love that, the rabbit and the rose with that beautiful duck egg ribbon in a basket. So pretty. And then my all-time favourite finish, probably ever. This is Blackbird Design and Blossom as the Rose from the book. And it's got the little bluebirds on the top. It's so simple. This was stitched on 32 count. So there we are. My favourite thing ever is on a 32 count linen. So you don't have to kill your eyes to do things. It's got my initial S, it's got the roses, and it's got the little rose hips on the back. This is how it was finished, sewn up along the seam. It just went together absolutely perfectly, following the instructions in the book to the letter. and that stays out in my glass cabinet all through the winter. I don't put that away, I just love it so much. And then in the summer it comes out on here and sits with my lovely little rose jugs from Hogben Pottery. Hogben. They're always at the Chelsea Flower Show, or you can order online. And there are some little gift shops in the UK that sell the Hogben pottery. I've got a little mug with a robin on and beautiful gifts. They do all sorts of things, soap dishes, mugs, really pretty, lovely pale pink pots. So that's my previous finishes. The only other thing I need to say is the giveaway winner. Please don't use that word, obviously, but the lady that won the chart from Old Barn Stitchery online, then under the www Little Loops, very kindly let me choose the chart. Remember, I chose French Fancy, that lovely pink vintage chart, which would be fabulous at Valentine's. I'll be stitching that next year. And so the lady that won it is called Trisha Knits, and I'll put in a photograph at the end of the random comment picker showing her name and number. Trisha Knits 5441. And yes, so if you contact Trisha, if you either contact me or contact Little Loops directly, Sammy will let you pick a chart that you like off the website there. And for this time, I bought a bag from Tiliana. They're a little company in Wales. I first saw this on Sew Me Sarah, her Flosstube, and I went and ordered 2 bags for myself. I thought this was really funny, Periwinkle stitcher, but they're really lovely quality. They're jute and canvas and leather handles. They've got little things on the bottom, so they'd be great to take to a retreat with all your project bags in. And I've also got the shoulder shopper. So if you would like to order one for yourself with your own personalized thing on, you can use the code Periwinkle on the Tiliana website. They're based just outside Abergavenny, I think, in Wales, and you will get 25% off your purchase, which is amazing. And also Helen very kindly offered a giveaway this time for a winner to go on the website and pick either the shopper or this tote bag. So if you would like to do that, go and have a look at their website. And if you want to be entered for that, please leave a comment, and please like and subscribe to the video. Leave a comment using the word shopper. And thank you so much for your time today. I'm sorry I've gone on and was a little bit disorganized, but I'll come back a little bit earlier next month and share with you all my progress. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and happy stitching.